We meet Yoon Seok-woo, a man who works in a lab for the military, in the first scene. He takes a few days off work and returns home to discover that his family is preparing to travel abroad for the holidays. Even though he really wants to go on the vacation with them, he is unable to because his military service is still active. In addition, Seok-woo's family does not seem to be pleased to welcome him, because they do not seem to value his profession highly. A nasty remark is made by his mother during their brief exchange, claiming that she sometimes forgets that he is in the military, because his responsibilities do not fit the stereotypical definition of a soldier. Here, it is revealed that Seok-woo has spent his 2 years of duty working in the military research lab, which is why his family does not place a lot of value on his job. Seok-woo's mother delivers him a note with a list of domestic tasks he must finish before they return, and his father strongly tells him not to meddle with his liquor cabinet, now that he will be staying alone at home. The first task on the list is to clean the house and take out the trash. Seok-woo, despite his reservations, is left with no choice but to follow these instructions. As his family departs for their vacation, Seok-woo begins cleaning the house. He gathers the recyclable trash and disposes of it in a designated area located right in front of the apartment. Upon returning home, he receives a voicemail from his female friend, Kim Yoo-min, who invites him to join her for dinner later in the evening. Seok-woo gets excited to meet her, which prompts him to hasten his cleaning efforts. He stumbles onto a rotting apple that appears to be diseased from one side. While he is engaged in this operation, he is shocked when he opens a bucket of foul food waste a short while later. He reluctantly dumps the foul food into a garbage bag and then cleans the bucket. Seok-woo prepares for supper and leaves the house after thoroughly cleaning it. He also has a garbage bag in his hand. He drops his trash bag with the decaying apple inside into a food waste disposal container he comes across along the road. Unbeknownst to anyone, all of that rotten waste food undergoes some sort of chemical reaction, which results in the generation of something big and unexpected. Later that evening, the sanitation workers arrive in their truck to collect the waste, which is later subjected to processing, and ultimately converted into cattle feed for the livestock of different farms. Following the process, those livestock are eventually slaughtered for their meat, which finds its way onto restaurant plates for customers. On the other hand, Seok-woo and Yoo-min meet up at a restaurant and enjoy a delicious grilled dinner. They also choose to taste the restaurant's specialty dish, which is cow's liver. Seok-woo senses something in his mouth while he eats. When he takes it out, he finds a peel from the same rotting apple that he had earlier thrown away. Even though the coincidence is quite unsettling, he pays it little mind and keeps enjoying the food without stopping. He has no idea that the meat came from the same cows that were fed contaminated food waste. Yoo-min uses her phone to get some images of the delectable meal. While all of this is going on, she responds that she wants to document every moment of her life, so that she can treasure it in the future. When Seok-woo inquires as to why she is doing it, Seok-woo and Yoo-min travel to a deserted park after eating, where they passionately kiss. Seok-woo makes unwanted physical approaches when his emotions get the better of him. Yoo-min is uneasy with this, so she intervenes. Seok-woo then extends an invitation to her to spend some time alone with him at his home, but she declines, saying that they have only been dating for 3 days, and that they should take it easy. Seok-woo apologizes to her and admits his emotions for her. After feeling that he had hurt her, he declares his desire to marry her and his deep love for her. Yoo-min is momentarily dumbfounded by this. Seok-woo then wonders why Yoo-min, who is so handsome, would be interested in a man who lacks romance. Yoo-min replies that she considers him to be very nice and faithful, which are traits she likes a lot. In her opinion, this distinguishes him from other guys. Yoo-min suddenly observes a strange black mark on Seok-woo's face. As the two talk more, a couple of high school students rudely interrupt their conversation and toss a ball at Seok-woo. Before they can discuss it, he reprimands the students and tells them to leave out of wrath. The students, however, form a group and begin to attack him. Eventually, Seok-woo gets knocked to the ground, which causes him to vomit some of the meat he had earlier eaten. Something incredibly unusual occurs in the following instant. Seok-woo experiences an abrupt metamorphosis into a stronger, zombie-like beast. The students are surprisingly defeated by him, and he even resorts to biting them with his razor-sharp fangs. Before running away from the situation out of terror, Yoo-min records Seok-woo's startling shift and his violent conduct on her phone. Seok-woo urgently tries to stop her, screaming that he is not the person she has just seen, but his cries are ignored. Seok-woo leaves the park with a bewildered expression on his face, wondering what just happened. In the aftermath of this incident, Seok-woo's bite infects the two students as well, and they gradually start to change into zombies. Then they approach a young couple in the park and attack them violently. Yoo-min gets on a bus to return home in the interim, but she also appears to be losing her health. She starts to splutter uncontrollably and gets restless. The same black mark that Seok-woo's face has is beginning to show on hers as well. She abruptly exits the bus a short while later and pukes on the side of the road. All of the individuals who earlier consumed beef meals may be observed gradually throwing up in the streets. Due to the virus, they too started to behave aggressively. They thus turn against one another, fighting viciously and seemingly for no reason. Seok-woo contacts a friend and arranges a meeting place at a pub somewhere. Seok-woo seeks to confide in his friend, in an effort to discover an explanation for what is happening. The latter, however, is unable to recognize his true issue. Seok-woo's friend assumes that he is just stressed out and recommends that they go dancing to try to get his mind off his problems. However, Seok-woo is much disturbed by the boisterous music and the crowded setting. He feels compelled to fight the other partygoers as a result of this. Seok-woo bites a number of them during the hubbub, exposing them to the virus. Then, when he travels back to his house, he unintentionally leaves his phone on the highway. Yoo-min is unable to contact him as a result. The city is consumed by enormous pandemonium. As the virus spreads relentlessly throughout it, news organizations started covering the virus and highlighting the strange and upsetting symptoms displayed by infected people, such as changes in eye appearance, rapid outbursts, and increased strength. The Department of Agriculture acted swiftly to handle the situation, hiring over 30 health officials to undertake in-depth inspections of nearby livestock farms. They believe that 6 of these farms have been polluted up to this point. After finishing their assessment, after a week, Seok-woo, who has fully turned into a zombie, is seen in his apartment, watching the news while extremely agitated. The items in his apartment appear to have been destroyed as a result of his frequent tantrums, leaving it in a mess. A few days later, his family rings the doorbell of the flat after arriving home from their vacation. They use a backup key to enter the apartment when Seok-woo doesn't respond. They see the house inside in a completely chaotic and demolished state. Particularly enraged is his father at the destruction of his prized booze bottles. Seok-woo is subsequently seen sitting motionless in the shadows. He starts to move in an unexpected way towards them as they call him out. The family members notice something is off when they see this, but Seok-woo attacks his parents and bites them to death before they have a chance to react. His sister is able to flee into the bathroom and lock herself away in the midst of this terrifying incident. A few more days go by and the virus appears to have changed. Other symptoms are already appearing in the afflicted people, such as extreme depression and an insatiable craving for unthinkable desires. They have now changed into hostile beings and are ferociously attacking those who are still unaffected. This has caused the number of casualties to increase quickly, and the situation has turned into an unmanageable nightmare. The government publishes a warning in an effort to curb the pandemic. They recommend a course of action that includes avoiding strangers who are acting strangely, and they exhort the populace to seek protection. The city is already ruled by those who have the infection, so it is not that easy. On the rooftops of buildings, uninfected people may be seen screaming for assistance. On the other hand, the scientific and medical communities are still unable to identify the cause of this sneaky virus or any potential treatments. The following scene takes place in the city's desolate streets, where a handful of zombies can be seen wandering around. This is the second time Seok-woo and Yoo-min have crossed paths. They begin to stroll together as they seem to recognize one another. They soon come across a dead apple that is lying on the ground. Seok-woo accepts it from Yoo-min and takes a mouthful without thinking about it.